nice weekend? I cannot hear you. Have you had a nice weekend? Alright, now I want a bit of scream and a shout if you've got any Red Dead fans in here. Good job. I ask that every time just to make sure, you know. Thank you very much for being here. My name is Claire, or Wee Claire, as you can call me. I'm very excited for this next one. Please let me introduce these lovely four. We've got Alex, Ben, Rob, and Roger. Big round of applause. Thanks, you guys. Take a seat. Hello, hello. First of all, how's Scotland been treating you? Alex, have you been here before?
I have. The first time I was here, I spent, I think, a week and a half, and it was 16 years ago.
16?
Yeah.
So have you seen anything nice so far?
I mean, I've seen these guys.
Yeah. They're very nice. 10 out of 10. What about you, Ben? Are you having a good time in Edinburgh?
Delightful time. I mean, this is amazing. Seeing everybody is amazing. We walked the Royal Mile as a gang the other day. Not like Saint Denis, but fun.
Nice. And what about you, Rob? How have you found meeting the fans in Scotland?
This has been so great. Thank you all so much for coming and having us here. This has been an amazing experience. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Woo! Finally, Roger, I know you're no stranger to the UK. Like, have you been to Scotland before, though?
Yeah, 21 years ago. I did the festival in '01 to, I think there was about 3 people in the audience. It was before the Gilded Balloon burnt down, if any of you remember that place. But again, what Rob said, guys, we know some of you drive hours to come here, and the appreciation that you show us for our work, it means the world. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much.
Now, before we get into Red Dead, and we're talking about video games, I wanted to ask if you guys, now I know Roger's a video game nerd, you're definitely, so we'll start with Roger, he's a huge nerd. Roger, what kind of video games did you have or play growing up?
Growing up, I had the Atari, and then the Nintendo, and then the SNES, and then the PS1. I'm doing my whole journey, my whole gaming journey. But yeah, I used to I remember E.T., remember E.T. on the Atari? That horrible, horrible game that they couldn't even give away? I loved it, but I completed it, and I didn't know that I had completed it. That's
I had an Atari ST.
Wow.
Giving away my age. Rob, what about you? Did you grow up with video games?
I really loved my Nintendo so much, but my parents would always come down. It was in the basement. My parents would always come down and say, "Hey, it's nice outside. You got to get out of here." So I kind of I got away from it, and I just never really made my way back. And I'm sorry. I don't know if I need to apologize when I say that I'm sorry. I'm not much of a gamer, but I want to be. I want to be. So someday.
If you meet Rob, you can school him in video games, and do a few recommendations. Ben, what about you?
I started with I think Pong I played when I was very little, Wii, as it were. Had an Atari 2600, stopped playing for Sega Genesis.
Yes.
Beat Echo the Dolphin, that was a great game.
I think they called it the Mega Drive over here, didn't you? The Sega Mega Drive, yeah.
Yeah, Echo, that was fun. And then I sort of stopped until the N64 came out and I saw Super Mario and I was like, that's new. And I got one of those and I've been playing ever since. I still don't have a PS5, so if anybody works for Sony, I could use a PS5 with a disc drive, please.
Yeah, right. It's very demanding. One of our most demanding panel guests. Finally, Alex, what about you? Were you a gamer?
Yes and no, off and on. I definitely played Super Mario, Donkey Kong, things of that nature. I loved arcades. And then in college, I really fell in love with this little company called Rockstar. And I was playing GTA and some of their older games, and then kind of put it down until I figured out what we were doing and then got to play it.
I wanted to ask, I mean,
What ending do you think is canon? Like the author being a sadistic maniac and like a criminal, or what like a let love?
Thanks, Bailey. Hey, well, it's called Redemption's in the title, right? So I reckon, I mean, the beauty of it is you can play it whatever way you want, but I think High Honor's the way to go. I think High Honor, Helping John, that was the first ending that we did. And for me, I don't take my word for it, but that one for me is the main ending, I think, you know? That's the one that gives you the most rewarding end. Or, you know, often when people come to my table, I'll say to them, which ending did you get? And they say, I got the good one. And I'll be like, what? There's a good one? But I know exactly what they mean. I know they mean the one with High Honor Helping John, and I agree with them.
I'm a sadistic maniac, I just said in the face.
Oh, damn us both!
thank you very much, Bailey. Thank you, nice to see you again. See you later. Okay.
And it doesn't need to be about your specific character, just the end.
Okay, who wants to answer that?
Can I swear?
Yes, it's my panel, you can swear.
I like when Dutch says, fuck you then.
Thank you very much.
And experiences from both of the, from all of it. And these things keep coming. So, yeah, I think it's too tough to choose, man, but that's a great question.
I'm biased. I'm gonna say 2.
Same.
But it wouldn't have been a 2 if it wasn't for the amazing work of Rob and Ben. So that's worth remembering too.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you for your question. You look badass. Hello, what's your name and what's your question?
So I'm Nick, and this is like another general question as well. But obviously, there's a lot of content in both games. But is there anything that you guys recorded that got cut, or that you wish had made it into the game that you feel like other fans would like to know about?
Good question. Who wants to start?
There was a mission killing bounty hunters on a train that we worked on.
I remember that. Yeah, there's loads of Boston fellas, wasn't it?
A couple of months we worked on that. Some badass stuff in there. But the thing is, if it got cut, it's because it wasn't up to snuff. So, but that's an excellent question. Anything else?
There was a lot of things, you know, I'd be here all day, but as Ben said, you know, you gotta, when you're making a project that size, stuff does have to fall by the wayside, and it happens for a reason, you know. I think they had a very kind of skeletal outlook of what the story was going to be, but the amazing writers and the Rockstar team, they didn't commit themselves too much in advance, you know, because they wanted to see, oh, this actor's bringing this to the table. We didn't anticipate that. All right, let's focus on that. Or that thing that's not working quite as well as we did. So they allowed themselves the flexibility to be able to move forward and lean towards stuff that they found that was really good, and, you know, not pay so much attention to the stuff that perhaps didn't turn out like they wanted to.
Thank you very much. And you look amazing. Right.
Lady's perspective or Alex's? Either. All right. They're probably similar. I think that last moment that I had with Arthur, it was actually really emotional. That was really beautiful. And I think the other one that comes to mind would be when I get my revenge on the O'Driscolls. It was a very, very intense scene to shoot, and it really felt like the culmination of something. And you know, it was special, and it got a little weird, a little intense, and you know, snot and tears and lots of screaming. And you know, afterwards, I couldn't move my shoulder for about a week. It turns out that motion isn't one that I do often. So, yeah, that was pretty phenomenal. And then I think right at the end, just getting to boss John around.
Thanks. What about you, Ben?
That's a great question, Hannah. There's a really small moment in Guarma where they all lay down for sleep, and Dutch says, "I'm sorry." After everything that they've gone through, from the bank to the shipwreck, and finally he says, "I'm sorry." And I figured that was the only chance I was going to have Dutch actually reflect on himself poorly and say so. And I don't know, something happened on that day. I'm very pleased with that moment. Thank you for asking.
Thank you. What about you, Rob?
Oh, thank you, Hannah. So we did all this shooting. We had the schedule, we did all this stuff, and then at the very end, when they're done with the performance capture part of the production, they do what they call a glue shoot, where it's all these little tiny things that you have to fix. And it could be that they added a line or you mispronounced someone's name or weird little things that just need to be fixed so that it's not like you're doing brand new scenes during this. You're just doing little things so they can get it all wrapped up and into the system, and then they can finish up that part of it. Well, so one of the things that we did during that was the very last thing, actually, that I was part of on the performance capture stage, and I think you too. We did the scene where Arthur gives John his hat, and of course we all knew at that moment, I'm starting to get choked up right now just talking about it. We knew what that meant for the game, but we also, that was the end of the performance capture part. So that was like another part of it that was like, my goodness, we've been doing this for so long and it's been such a grind, enjoyable, but like never saw the end coming for so long. And so for that very last scene, they brought everybody in the building onto the stage. And so if you're in clothes like we're in now, that don't have the reflective markers on them, the cameras don't see you. So Roger and I were the only two on the stage that were in performance capture suits, but so many Rockstar employees that were never on the stage at any point all came down, and as soon as the director found the take that he wanted and said, cut, take that, the whole place just kind of melted down. It was like such a celebration of how much we had accomplished at that moment, and also weight lifted off so many people's shoulders, and it was a really, really great moment for both of those reasons combined.
Thank you. Finally, Roger, anything to add?
So my favorite bit is you might not play it, because if you don't do the Brother Dorkins missions in Saint Denis, it skips. But there's that moment with Sister Calderon at the train station where Arthur says he's scared, he's afraid to die. And that always hit me, because I never saw that in a Western before, you know, and I thought that was very interesting, and I liked exploring that.
Thank you. Thank you
Thanks,
very,
Anna.
very much for the question.
Well, hey there, Fabian, how you doing, boy? You want a Lenny? Here it comes. Lenny!
Thank you very much, guys. A round of applause for the people that asked the questions. Great. Now, I'm going to ask one last question, and then we're going to do a stage selfie. When I do the stage selfie, I want you all to stand up and like cheer, but I'll prompt you. Last thing I want to say to you guys, do you have anything to say, or what would you like to say to the lovely fans here at Comic-Con Scotland? Sorry, Alex, I'm looking at you again. You are closest to me. So,
Just thank you. This welcome has been so heartwarming, so incredible. All of you have been amazing to talk to and to connect with. I love it. Love Scotland, love everything about being over here, and I am just so grateful.
thank you, Alex. Thank you.
This is my first trip to Scotland, and it won't be my last. You guys are magnificent. Your oysters are excellent. And I love you guys. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much. Honestly, it's like, it feels like I've won the lottery or something. I have to pinch myself all the time. It's really a great experience. And like we talked about, the community that you've all created and supported each other. I've met so many people here that I've either met at other conventions that I really consider friends at this point, and I've also met some people who have created art that they've shared with me, and I'm meeting them in person now. And it's really an overwhelming experience, and thank you all for being so supportive and so cool. Thank you.
You know, I started my career in the UK. I trained in Wales. And I lived here for 10 years. And it's such, in my wildest dreams, I never imagined that I'd be coming back and enjoying the appreciation of all of you guys. Like I said at the beginning of the panel, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We know it's not easy driving for hours. After COVID, some of us have never been in a room this crowded before, and it can be overwhelming, but you guys rock, you guys are amazing. Outlaws for life.
I'm choking up here. I'm choking up. Thank you very much, you guys. So let's give one final round of applause for these guys, and then we're going to do the selfie. Roger,